Despite the dangerous visitor lurking around Hogwarts, Harry insisted on going to visit Hagrid. He was anxious to hear the outcome of Buckbeak's trial.
Was that? I think it was.
Poor Buckbeak!
Poor Hagrid.
Harry's eyebrows might be slanted to make a sad face, but it looks like he has a vague smile going on right now.
Look! It's Scabbers!
You see, Ron, Crookshanks was innocent.
Oh. Well, you all got over that heartbreak pretty easily.
I've got you naughty rat! Oh!
I don't know why, but the way Ron yells here makes me laugh. It sounds less like, I'm being attacked and bitten by a massive dog, and more like, I stubbed my toe and dropped a bowl of Skittles on the floor. But then the rest of his screaming does sound more appropriate, so yeah. What the hell is wrong with these camera shots? They keep cutting off part of the subjects. I mean, seriously, look at this shot. This is absurd. My best and most generous guess is that some of these shots may have looked okay without this cinematic cutscene letterboxing, which are those horizontal black lines at the top and bottom of a video frame that overlay the rest of the scene. They probably aligned the in-game camera to make that shot before they added the letterboxing effect to these cutscenes, and then didn't bother to check again to see if the letterboxing interfered with how any of the shots might have looked. But even that doesn't make sense, because that would imply they didn't test this game before releasing it. And as far as I can tell, there really aren't any bugs in this game, or at least any game-breaking ones. And in my opinion, even if you were to get rid of the letterboxing for this particular shot, it would still be unacceptable, because presumably some of Harry's forehead would still get cut off, even if it isn't as severe. Okay, quick edit here. About a couple of days before I was scheduled to upload this, it occurred to me that maybe this horrendous cropping wasn't the developer's fault, but my own fault, albeit inadvertently. So I did some research online, and sure enough, that widescreen modification I mentioned back in episode 1 causes this problem where the cutscenes are zoomed in too far. There's a thread on the widescreen gaming forums about this. I'm not sure I really understand what this person is talking about, since the whole game should be rendered in the Unreal Engine and not just the cutscenes. But we know that cutscenes aside, the in-game camera does work fine during normal gameplay, given these comparison screenshots a different user submitted. I'll link that thread in the description box below. Maybe someone can explain to me what was meant by saying that the cutscenes are rendered in the engine as opposed to normal gameplay being rendered where the camera follows you around from a third-person point of view. But yeah, my bad. I didn't feel like deleting my whole rant before inserting this addendum because I also took a screenshot of this guy's YouTube video where he's playing with a default resolution that's a 4:3 ratio. And you can actually see Harry's eyes again, but I still think the forehead being cut off at the top is unnecessary, so the developers are only mostly off the hook this time. Weirdly enough, though, this YouTuber doesn't seem to have the letterboxing and the subtitles. I looked in my in-game options, but I don't see any settings that allow you to turn that on or off, so I can't even explain that right now. But yeah, if you modify the game in ways that the developers didn't anticipate, then unintended consequences may follow.
Where does this tunnel come out?
I don't know. But we've got to help Ron.
Did the dog really drag Ron through this underground tunnel faster than you guys can sprint through it? Kinda disrespectful to fuck up a skull like that. No one else saw you desecrate the dead.
We better both cast at once.
It's probably pissed off that you... What did... It disintegrated but launched its bone club thingy through the roof like a baton being shot out of a cannon. I can't imagine why anyone would keep a cauldron full of beans down here unless the skeletons do business with the students of Hogwarts as well. Or maybe this bean trading system even extends into Hogsmeade. What did I just finish telling you about extracting beans from skulls? Those charmed skeletons will fuck you up, boy. Well, I fucking warned you. That's insane how their clubs just launch into the air like that. I'll deal with that in a minute. Let's see what's over here. That's quite a large pit. Dang, you can barely make that jump. It's like Harry stumbles a bit when he lands. Okay, watch this. Watch how he lands. That's insane. It's like he sticks one leg out to touch the edge and then somehow has enough leg power to transfer the motion of jumping forwards and falling down into simply walking up a single step.
Thank goodness. Chocolate frogs!
At least the save book doesn't cancel out dialogue, it merely interrupts it. It wouldn't stand so close to that pile of bones, Harry. It might come back to life all over again. Hey, I warned you that would happen. Although it looks like the specific pile of collagen and calcium remains that I was worried about didn't pose any sort of a threat after all. Are you coming up here, Hermione? There's 2 locks. I kinda need you. Okay, thank you.
Oh no! Salamanders!
Please, you dealt with these things effortlessly in Charms class. Don't soil your robes because you encountered them in the wild, too. See what I tell you? You missed. Oh shit, there's another one on your left side. Fuck. Oh, wow. Well, being set on fire apparently does negligible damage as well.
Wow! You're quite impressive with that Glacius charm, Harry.
How is it that Hermione can't perform the Glacius spell either? I know I played as Harry in the Charms class, but you all sat in the same Defense Against the Dark Arts, Transfiguration, and Charms lessons. I mean, I get it. For a video game, you want to diversify the abilities of each playable character. Otherwise, there's no point in switching between them, but it still doesn't make sense in any other way. I don't know how nitpicky I should be about that. Okay, it doesn't have to be a criticism, just a comment, I guess.
Harry, are you alright?
Of course Harry's alright. You should have seen some of the jumps he made in the Glacius challenge. Come to think of it, I'm pretty sure you've jumped and fallen greater distances in this game yourself, Hermione. Were you just gonna run over a trapdoor that your friend just fell through? So much for being super smart. I can't believe that a dog dragging a struggling human moves faster than you two. It probably doesn't help that I'm stopping every few seconds for beans, though, but hey, who needs exercise in gym classes when you can teleport anywhere? Which you apparently can't do yet. Although even if you could apparate, are we far enough from Hogwarts anti-apparate magic to enable you to do that? I would guess that you probably couldn't even if you were still underneath the Hogwarts grounds, but at this point we might be far enough away. I guess it still wouldn't do any good anyways if you don't know where Ron or the end of the tunnel is, though. Great, this problem again. My wings aren't even touching it now. Jeez, unbelievable.
Brilliant! That's a good dragon!
It's not like you're praising a being with free will. You are in total control, right? Actually, I want to look at something again. Let me see here. Aha! Beans! And lots of them. Floating in midair. In a dungeon cave area. Who the fuck does this? And speaking of sweets, we'll see later that this passage leads straight into the Shrieking Shack, but what if the game also included the passage from Hogwarts to the Cellar of Honeydukes in Hogsmeade? That would be so cool! When you're exploring the castle, you just go to the statue of the One-Eyed Witch and you engage in the same kind of gameplay that we had in the first game where Harry was sneaking around under his invisibility cloak. Once you get to Hogsmeade, come on, for fuck's sake, I have to land to pick this thing up. But how many other things could you do once you're in a hypothetical in-game version of Hogsmeade besides exploring? Well, I'm actually surprised there's nothing hidden near the bottom here. But let's see, you probably wouldn't be able to buy anything since we use beans as currency rather than actual wizarding money. Fighting Dementors along the way would be pointless if they're not fooled by invisibility cloaks. I got nothing. Fuck, how do I release control of the dragon? I guess I'll try random buttons on the keyboard. Fuck's sake. Come on, what the hell? Okay, it was the enter key. I'm sure I was told that at one point, but obviously I forgot. Oh, you're fucked now.
Oh no! Blocked! Harry! Harry!
Those gates could fucking impale someone, for fuck's sake. And even though we're far away from Hermione, that chocolate frog still healed her health bar. And just to calm your concern, Harry, Ron's probably fine. When you were making your way up to the legal section of the library, one chocolate frog healed all three of you anyways. In fact, one frog probably heals every injury and cures every disease for every single person in the whole world, regardless of where they're geographically located. Who leaves all these beans here anyways? I can accept finding them during school lessons because those are controlled areas that are set up by the teachers, but is someone like Voldemort leaving them lying around for shits and giggles? But on the other hand, it could be Sirius Black himself since he's Harry's godfather after all. Not sure how he would know Harry would come this way instead of Hermione, but I'm probably overthinking this anyways. Who cares? God, I hate that these torches have collision detection. Is that really necessary? I have to move even closer to the edge of an already narrow walkway just because of these fucking things? Like, even if you wanted to illuminate this area, you couldn't have moved them a little higher? See, watch this shit. Okay, at least one more of these things that I have to deal with. Oh, thank God. At least the top level doesn't have any torches. That allows you to easily run around the perimeter. Why not do that on all the levels? Although then again, I might be being hypocritical here. After all, this game has been mind-numbingly easy so far, in my opinion, and I think I've complained about that already a few times during the series.
Well, that was fun.
Ron! We've got to help Ron!
Okay, apparently Ron is just beyond this door if his screams are that loud and clear. Well, I feel misled. I'm pretty sure the noises that these skeletons are making, which shouldn't even be possible since they don't have vocal cords, are just deeper variations of the screeching noises that the pixies make. Listen to when I kill this next one. And we just keep fucking up the skulls of the deceased like that's a perfectly normal thing to do with a friend on an afternoon like this when you're in the middle of an urgent search and rescue mission. Okay, that fucking chest literally just belched its contents at us. The combination of how the items fly out of there and the frog sound effect worked perfectly there. We could even pretend that the pumpkin pasties were chunks of orange vomit being spewed everywhere. Well, while you're standing there thinking, I'm going to actually start doing. Oh well, thank you for seeing things my way. Well, this is pretty straightforward, although at least it's different from anything we've done so far in this game, so that's good. Oh, well, now you're fucked. There's like a dozen pile of bones in this room. And only one or two of them woke up. As long as these other piles don't resurrect themselves. For fuck's sake, can't a guy loot treasure in peace? Hermione's getting all kinds of fucked up down here, but it's her own responsibility to move out of the way of projectiles. Oh, thank fuck we finally made it. But I want a house that has a basement that leads into a cave. That would be awesome.
Where's the dog? It's not a dog.
So there's no evidence of Ron's leg being injured, is there? Oh shit.
There's no need to be afraid. Sirius Black is not what you think he is. And Scabbers, he's not a rat. He's a wizard by the name of Peter Pettigrew.
What?
Watch. I can explain.
I'm not sure that Peter Pettigrew is even missing part of a finger here.
It wasn't Sirius Black who betrayed your parents, Harry. It was Pettigrew.
Yeah, so he's a big shithead, but seriously, look at this screenshot. Does that look like he's missing any bits of any finger to you? Not to me, but I couldn't remember which finger he had partially cut off when faking his own death, so I looked it up, and according to the Harry Potter wiki, it was his right index finger in the book, and his left ring finger in the movie. But here, I don't see any of his fingers partially missing. But after a couple of minutes, I thought maybe it was his right thumb, because it looks pretty short in this shot, but then I looked for a different frame and found that, no, he does in fact have all 10 fingernails on him. So they didn't even try. Between this shot, where you can see 9 fingernails except for his right pinky, and this shot where you can see the remaining 10th fingernail, it's clear that Peter Pettigrew in this game never lost part of any finger. Now granted, when you're playing this, you can only see his hands for a couple of seconds, so it might be something that most people don't notice unless they're, like me, and have recorded gameplay footage that they're looking through, but nonetheless, this is just sheer laziness and outright disappointing.
Peter Pettigrew had not only betrayed James and Lily Potter to Voldemort, he had also framed Sirius Black as Voldemort's spy. It was
Look at Ron, he's walking just fine.
Back to Hogwarts and turned over to Professor Dumbledore. But there was one more secret to be revealed that night.
Professor Lupin, what's wrong?
Leave it to me! Run!
So all we get is a flash and a sound effect off screen and see Ron lying there at the feet of Pettigrew. If you hadn't read the book or watched the movie, you might have assumed that Ron had possibly just died right there, given the lack of emotional expression throughout most of this game so far, compared to this part where Hermione's face and voice actually express shock for once.
He's breathing at least.
Professor Lupin is a werewolf?
And in addition to that revelation, I guess Pettigrew also decided to impale himself with his wand to make up for not removing part of a finger earlier.
him alone! He's innocent!
So we're fighting real Dementors now, but unfortunately this bit of gameplay is just way too short, easy, and anticlimactic. Not that this is the end, of course, but it's close enough. Professor Lupin in both the book and movie said that the effects of a boggart Dementor aren't as severe as a real Dementor, so they really missed an opportunity here to somehow make this a more challenging fight. I mean, sure, there's more of them surrounding Harry, but they close in so slowly that it hardly matters, and I'm not sure what they could have done to make this more difficult since the core of the Patronus charm involves focusing on a happy memory and there's no way to incorporate that kind of thing into the gameplay experience, but maybe they could have required you to be more precise about where the Ring of Light is before you cast properly, such as closer to the tip of the wand rather than anywhere along the length of it.
For a brief moment, Harry thought he saw someone trying to help him. Was it his father? But no, it couldn't be.
Harry, are you alright?
What's happened? Is Sirius okay? Where's Ron?
Madam Pomfrey says Ron will be alright. He just needs some rest.
Unfortunately, Sirius Black is not faring so well. He's locked in a high tower. He'll be handed over to the Dementors soon.
Is that the 28th President of the United States, Woodrow Wilson? What's he doing here? We're not even in the right country.
It's true. What we need is more time.
But... oh! The Time Turner!
Time Turner?
More than one innocent life could be saved tonight.
I meant to tell you. Eventually, Professor McGonagall let me borrow this Time Turner. I've been using it all year to go back in time so I could attend extra lessons.
That explains a lot.
We could use it to go and save Buckbeak.
And then fly him up to the tower to rescue Sirius. But we must take care not to be seen by our earlier selves.
Hermione always stressed the importance of not being seen while time traveling. In fact, she needed to often repeat that point to Harry, who wanted to act on impulses at times, but here, Harry just goes ahead and says it on his own about 15 seconds after Hermione dropped this bombshell of a plot device on him.
They've got Buckbeak in there somewhere.
It's awfully quiet. You're sure you set the Time Turner back the right amount?
I'd rather save this for the next video. Buckbeak is just gonna have to wait. So is Sirius, too. Okay, it's one thing to run repeatedly into a wall or object, it's quite another to run into an invisible wall. I need to find a fucking save book. There's gotta be one around here somewhere.
Look! There's Buckbeak!
Keep your voice down, Hermione. Shit.
There must be a way to make this platform go up.
No! No platforms. Just save books. Good, there's one. I'm done with this shit for now. And I hope you enjoyed this particular episode because it was a pain in the ass to edit together this time.